Good morning, children. This is part 2 video of the lesson Soil. Let's recall what we have learned in our part 1 video. We learned that soil is a natural resource and it gives us lot of things. It is very essential for growing plants, which in turn gives us food, fibers, raw material for our industries, wood, medicines, etc. What is the soil made up of, or the composition of the soil? Soil is made up of air, water, um, organic matter, or the humus. Then there is living things like the roots of the plant, and small insects and some animals. Was soil always there? No. Soil was formed by the process of weathering, which is a very slow process, and it is formed from the rocks. And we also studied about the soil profile, which actually is a vertical layer of soil beginning from the surface down, which consists of distinct layers called as horizon. So let us move on. Now we learn the different types of soil, right? So look around us. You can find different colors of soil. Somewhere you find red color soil, somewhere you find brown color soil, somewhere you find black color soil. Okay, so you find different colors of soil. Why is this? This is due to the different types of minerals that are present in the soil. The mineral present in the soil actually give it its color. But depending on the size of the soil particles, soil can be differentiated into 4 types. They are clay, silt, sand, and gravel. The first type of soil, the clay soil. It has the smallest size particle, which is less than 0.002 millimeters in diameter. This is the reason why clay soil feels very smooth. Its particles are very tightly packed with very little space in between. And this is the reason why the air content of the soil or aeration is very poor. But its water holding capacity is very high. Because of the small gaps, water is easily held in these gaps. This type of soil is very useful for making pottery. In Tamil, do you know what we call the soil? We call this as the kalimannu, right? So this is the potter's soil. It is used to make various items of pottery and also tiles and bricks or the shingle that is used in the construction of houses. This type of soil can support certain crops like paddy and jute. Moving to the second type of soil, the silt. What is the size particle? What is the size of this soil particle? It is between 0.002 mm to 0.05 mm. This soil, unlike clay soil, is not very smooth. It is generally found in the riverbeds. It has got very good aeration and it has got good water holding capacity. This type of soil is suitable for any type of crop. The third type of sand particle is the sand. It is a large size particle with a diameter of 0.05 mm to 2.0 mm. They are very coarse to touch. Where can you find the sandy soil? You can find them easily in the beaches and in the deserts. Is it useful? Yes, of course it is useful. The sand is used in construction of buildings. Along with cement, it is used to make the concrete. And do you know that sand is also useful to make glass and porcelain? It is the raw material for making glass items and porcelain items. The next type of soil is the gravel. Gravel is nothing but small stones. Okay, any soil particle greater than 2.0, we term it as gravel. It has got very good aeration, but its water holding capacity is poor and it cannot support plant growth. But it has a different use. Do you know where we use it? Yes, we use it in construction and also to make roads. There is another type of soil called as loam. What is loam? It is a mixture of sand, silt, and clay, almost in equal proportions, along with humus. It has the right amount of water holding capacity. Its aeration is good to promote root growth, and this is the best soil for growing different types of crops. So, what about a soil? Do we have this distinct clay soil, sandy soil? No. A sandy soil is majority of the sand particles will be of sandy type, but it will have little bit of clay as well as silt. Similarly, if there is a clayey soil, the majority of the sand particles will be of clay, but there will be little amount of say gravel or even sand in it. Right. Here is a small activity to find out what type of soil is present near your house. Okay, for this you need a small container. A see through container will be very nice. So ask your mother, take her permission for the use of such container. Okay, if nothing is available, you can use 1 liter disposable mineral water bottle. Yeah, you can just cut the top to make it little bit wide mouth. What you have to do here is what you have to do. You have to go out into your garden or on the roadside, dig a small hole and collect about a kg of soil. Okay, the soil should be enough to fill half of your container. So, depending on what size of container you have taken, that much amount of soil you will require. It should fill half the container, right? Do this. Next, pour water. Pour water on this soil, right? Till how much water you have to pour? You have to pour till 3/4 of the container is filled. Now take hold of a stick and mix this mixture nicely. Take care that you don't soil your dress, right? Be careful. Now leave this container containing the soil undisturbed for a few hours. Just forget it. Okay? Come back and observe. After a couple of hours, come back and observe. You'll find that on top you'll have some dark color particles of say leaf or insects or something. So that is the humus. Below which you will find a layer of water. This is the water, extra water that you poured. This is it. Below which you will find layers. The first layer is very, very fine particles. That is the clay layer. Below which you'll find the coarse particles, which is the sand, and below that you'll find small and big stones. So, the type of soil your particular area has can be found out by this activity. I want all of you to do this activity. Take a picture of your container and upload it to me within the next 1 week. Now let us study some properties of soil. The first is percolation rate. What do you understand by percolation? When you pour water on the ground, what will happen? Or say when it rains, you'll find that there is no water. After it has rained very hard for half an hour, you will find that the surface is covered with water. But what happens to this after a few hours? This water is not there, isn't it? Where did it go? It seeped inside the soil. It entered the soil. Between the soil particles, it entered and went deep inside. We call this as percolation. So, different soils will have different rates of percolation, or the movement of water inside the soil is at different rate. How do we find out? We can do a small activity. Again, take a 1 liter disposable mineral water bottle. cut both the top and bottom of it and fix this water bottle into the soil. Dig a small hole, fix it, and then cover it so that it stands vertically. Now take around 200 ml of water in a small bottle, right? And as soon as you start pouring, take your cell phone and go to your stopwatch and press it. Once you have poured all of the 200 ml of water inside this container, wait. Keep watching it till the last drop of water goes inside the soil. At that time, you have to stop the stopwatch. Right? Understood what we have to do? We have to take a mineral water bottle, cut the top and bottom, fix it in the soil. Take 200 ml of water and start pouring in this container. You should not spill any of the water. Okay, all of the water should slowly be put inside this container only, and you have to note down the time. Now suppose it took 10 minutes for the 200 ml of water to seep down the container, right? So what is the percolation rate? How will you calculate? The percolation rate is equals to, what is the amount of water we took? 200 ml divided by, what was the time which it took? 10 ml. So 200 by 10 ml 200 ml by 10 minutes. That comes to 20 ml per minute. It means that the water can travel at the 20 ml of water can go inside the soil in about 10 minutes. That is the percolation rate. Percolation rate will be different for different soils. You can take different types of soils and compare their percolation rates and also see. The next property of soil that we are going to read is the moisture in the soil. Okay, we have learned that when you water the soil or when it rains, where does this water go? It is there present in the soil. Even after you have not watered the soil for 2 days, even if you dig a little deep and touch, you can feel the moisture. Okay, we have a better method of knowing whether the soil contains moisture or not. You take a dry test tube, fill it with a little sample of soil and heat it. After a few minutes, you will see that there are drops of water on the neck of the top of the test tube. This is a clear indication that the soil indeed contains moisture. The third property of soil that we are going to study is how much water is absorbed by soil. Right? So, here is a small formula to calculate the water absorbed. It is always expressed as a percentage. Okay, so water absorbed is equals to U minus V divided by the weight of soil into 100. This is the formula to calculate the water absorbed by a given soil sample. What is the U? U is the initial amount of water you have taken. Okay, what is V? V is the final reading of water. Right? So this is how you do this experiment. You take about 50 grams of soil sample. You can take a clay sample, you can take a silt, and you can take a sand. But all of them should be of equal weight. We have taken here 50 grams, 50 grams of soil. You weigh it and take it. Okay. Then you take a funnel, spread a filter paper on the funnel. Okay. And then pour the soil on it. Right? Now take a beaker in which you take about 100 ml of water. 100 ml of water and start pouring it into the funnel. Right? See that you have covered all the soil. You must not pour in one place, but you must pour slowly. You can even use a dropper to pour it slowly all over the surface. Till what time you have to pour? Till water starts to be seen down in the funnel. Okay, in the beaker it should fall. Till that time you have to pour. Right? So you know the initial amount of water you have taken. That is about how much did we take? 200? No, 100 ml I said. 100 ml. Okay. Now the water remaining in the beaker is say 50. So 100 minus 50 is how much? 50. Right? So 50 divided by what was the amount of soil you had taken? 50 grams, isn't it? 50 by 50 into 100. That is 100%. Okay, that is the absorption of water. You can compare different soils and see. What is a common observation that people have seen is sandy soil, it absorbs less water. It does not absorb water, but it lets it fall down. It lets it percolate. So see the beaker which is below the sandy soil. It has got more water. See, so the sand is not holding water, but it is allowing it to fall down. See the clay soil. See, in the beaker you find little water. Why? Because the clay soil has absorbed lot of water and kept it with it, and it is not allowing it to percolate down. So this is absorption of water by the soil. Now here is a small comparison of different properties of sand, silt and clay. If you see the water holding capacity, sand has the lowest water holding capacity and clay has the highest. Drainage rate is the opposite. So drainage rate of sand is very very high. It means it can easily drain down, right? And for clay it is very very low. So places which have got a very very high sandy soil will have no waterlogging problem. Water will not stand there. But places which has got high amount of clay particles, there the water will be stagnated, and we call this as waterlogging areas. Similarly, organic material or humus, if you see in sandy soil it is very very low, whereas in clay soil it is very very high. So these properties of soil determine what crops to grow in it, right? If the crop requires lot of water and I go and try to grow this in a sandy soil, will it grow there? It will not grow. So we must only grow crops which are suitable to be grown in that particular soil. So if we see a sandy soil, you can grow crops like wheat, or you can grow most of the vegetable crops, and you can grow some fruit trees also. But you try to grow other crops, it will not grow there. You see medium loam and alluvial. These are few soils which are suitable for all the crops. You name it and you can grow it in these places. On the other hand, if you see clay soils, again, you can grow only certain plants like rice and jute. Now, coming to the next topic, that is soil erosion. What do you understand by soil erosion? It is the process of carrying away of soil particles by agencies such as wind and water. Okay, soil is generally carried away by running water or a very very heavy sort of wind. Why we should prevent this? Why? Because soil erosion causes loss of fertility. You remember the humus, the organic matter which was present in the soil, the topsoil which makes it very very fertile. This is generally blown away or taken away by the erosion. When this is taken away, no, naturally the fertility of the soil becomes less, and this soil becomes unsuitable for plant growth. That is why we must avoid soil erosion. Wind as agents of soil erosion. Have you seen this picture? Have you seen the scene on a very very hot summer afternoon? A strong wind is growing, a field is barren without any crop, without even the roots which have been plowed out and taken. The wind can easily take away the most valuable part of the soil. This is erosion due to wind. Had this field been covered by at least grass, the wind would not have taken away the soil particle. Water as agents of soil. Very, very fast flowing water or when the river is in floods, you can find that it can uh, totally take out or n- take away a huge amount of soil, leaving deep gorges in the ground. Okay, the soil is carried away by rivers and is deposited at the bottom of the sea, never to be retrieved back. Similarly, if you see oceans also, when there is cyclones or huge tide waves are there, oceans also keep on eroding the coast and taking away huge amount of soil with them and depositing it again at the bottom of the oceans. Remember, the formation of soil is a very, 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 very slow process. It takes thousands of years. So that is why it cannot be replaced that fast. That is why we have to prevent soil erosion. The process of preventing erosion is called as soil conservation. Okay, protecting the soil from erosion is called as soil conservation. What are the different methods of soil conservation? The best method is afforestation. Grow trees, grow plants, even grasses are okay. Why? Because their roots hold the soil tightly and do not allow it to be eroded either by the wind or by the water. So, growing plants or afforestation is the best method of soil conservation. Similarly, if you see grasslands, there are huge amount of animals graze on them, and when there is a huge population of herbivores, they sometimes eat away even the roots. Okay, and then there is no protection for these huge areas of land against wind erosion. When there is wind, it will take out the it will blow away the soil. Okay, so we have to protect it from overgrazing. So we have to see that we take the cattle to different parts of the grassland and rotate it. Similarly, if you see the soil erosion due to the flooded rivers, what we can do to prevent it? We can build embankments. Okay, the banks, the boundaries of the rivers can be raised by putting more amount of soil on it, so that even if there is a flood, the water only flows into the river and does not cross and come out to erode the soil. Similarly, if you see in the mountain regions, if you see the mountain slopes, they are cut into huge steps or terraces. This is again done to prevent erosion due to running water, because in the slopes, if you see, water and soil can easily flow down, isn't it? But if you cut the slopes of the mountains or hills into terraces, you can slow down the erosion process and you can slow down the taking away of soil. So terrace farming is generally done in the mountains to prevent soil erosion. There are other methods like not using chemical fertilizers, sticking to organic manure only, crop rotation, mixed cropping. All these methods will help in the soil, in the fertility of the soil being preserved and the soil not being infertile, for that, so that we can grow more and more food crops. So this is all we have for this lesson soil. Hope you understood. Hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Thank you.